Today's workout, I'll be using some force plate and some isometric. So you can see the setup here. I have the recorder right there. I'll actually show you guys that when we do the workout here in a second. And I do that with the Exergenie. So the Exergenie is tied to the rack and it's a resisted sprints. So the first thing I'm gonna do here are those isometric belt squats. And I'm doing this in a high position. I have found that the position of the isometric really makes a difference on how comfortable it feels. Sometimes if I'm way too low in a squat position, it is just wildly uncomfortable. And honestly, it leaves my knees hurting a little bit more than they should be. So I like to try and just find a position that works best for me and what makes me the most comfortable. From there, I found that position, that upright position. I like to use hand support. And I'm driving into the chain or the upward squat position as fast as I can. Basically, in my brain, I'm thinking jump, produce force fast, and I'm watching my force outputs down below. I'm not trying to hold that contraction. It's just that burst like isometric. I'm going to show you guys the results here, and you can check it out. We want these rapid increases in force, then we want to relax, and again, go back to it for about 6 to 8 reps. Sometimes the first couple reps you see here aren't really full effort. You're just trying to find a comfortable position. So after that, I pair that with the Exergenie sprints and bounds. And so this first one you're going to see isn't fully a sprint in the traditional sense. It's more of like a power bound. If I'm doing a power bound, I'm thinking about each rep being its own rep. So basically like a traditional bound, I'm just trying to cover as much ground one step at a time. So I kind of think, okay, I have 6 total steps I'm going to do, basically 6 separate reps. If I were to sprint, I would not think of it that way. I'm just trying to move as fast as I can. So I'm trying to cover as much ground as possible. It's a lot of resistance. It looks kind of silly and slow because it is slow because it's heavy, but I am trying to move that thing as fast as I possibly can. Again, just like the isometric, focusing on that initial burst of force that we're trying to produce. So here you can see the setup. I have the Hawkins Dynamics recorder on the ground. And what I'm doing here is you'll see the up increase in force, boom, right there. That's 1 rep. And then you'll see each rep separated kind of by a break in between. So explode up, break, explode up, break. And this is tons of force, by the way. This is like 5,000 newtons, which basically shakes out to 1,000 pounds of force. That really makes you question quite a bit about what is actually the driving stimulus of adaptation. If it is force production, is there really anything that beats the isometric? Is it maybe the fact that the isometric, I'm not holding it for as long, that it's not creating as much adaptation if I were to hold it for longer because it's like a time under tension plus the amount of force? I don't know, something to think about. I have absolutely loved adding this into my training, just a ton. So then I did another set of kind of sprint runs here. You see there I had to avoid the rope on the ground. If you step on the rope while you're doing the Exergenie, you're going to launch yourself because it catches and basically immediately stops, and you'll launch yourself into another world, basically. It's like you run into a brick wall. So after that, I paired that. I didn't pair it. I actually did these after. The kind of high position, no pre-tension, box jumps or static jumps, whatever you want to call these. I'm just trying to explode up as fast as I can. This is really challenging because I've removed all the pre-stretch and pre-load on it. I'm not going to produce tons of force per se. It's more like training my nervous system to produce as much force as I possibly can. And then last but not least, we have these baby bar repeat jumps. I call it a baby bar because it's basically the same length as a barbell. I think it's maybe 5.5 feet, 6 feet, but it's only 15 pounds. And I found that if I get too heavy on these, it's not comfortable at all. So I want to jump up and as I hit the ground, I have a rhythm hop in between. I'm not trying to go one into the next. I want to make sure each jump is taking place from a good position. So pretty tough, pretty exhausting. That's the workout though. Hope you guys enjoy, and thanks for watching.